We're going to have a nice conversation, but if y'all will join me in welcoming to the stage our very own Miss Paris Strother. All right, let's get into it. I want you to tell us how you experienced the moment when you made the story video.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because for me, it was such a moment. We met, I think I had just moved out to LA, and you were like, I'm doing this thing. And it really worked. And I think for us, we are always trying to manifest these moments that work. And so I really want to ask you, how did that come to you? It wasn't like there was a trend of people making videos like that, if you could describe it. It was so you.
Yeah, so this was right after I finished Berklee. I was actually at my post as the special programs coordinator at the Thelonious Monk Institute of Jazz. During this time, I knew I wanted to do music. I knew I wanted to kind of do my own thing. I had been in LA auditioning for everybody, but it was a real call from inside to do something with my twin sister. And so I was at the Monk Institute and kind of had some resources around me. I knew I wanted to do something very special and visual for this song that we had made. So just kind of cut up construction paper. It was really just something that I saw, wanted to do, wanted to have like a really interesting kind of visual representation. But it was just kind of following an instinct of trying to make visually what I was hearing in my mind.
You received it and you made it. Yeah. I think it's so interesting because we're all sort of hearing voices of what we should do. And I know nobody was like, hey, Paris, you should sit down and cut out some construction paper, and then you should make this brilliant video by yourself, right? Nobody handed you that strategy, and it exploded. It exploded. It was received so well. So how did that feel for you, and what did that feel like? And how did it ground the way that you keep walking your path?
It was very exciting to kind of see the feedback that we were getting. It all kind of happened in one day where it just kind of had this viral moment. But for us, it was a really big testament to just following your heart, following your soul, following your sound.
Following your gut. Yeah, your voice. You're such a grounding presence in my life for that. And for those of you who are really wondering and thinking about your authenticity, I really want you to hear what Paris says, and please come up to her afterwards. She's managed to be herself this whole time, and that is so very hard. Roberto, you spoke to it a little bit. I don't know where you went. I lost you. But that thing that makes us feel like we can't just be us is so real, and especially in our spaces, especially as creatives. And so it's such a wonderful thing to have the example of like, it can work. It does work. And it's amazing when it does, because it's like nothing else. It's just you, and no one can do that except you. Yeah? Okay, let's get into the meat. Since that happened, you've worked on Grammy-nominated and award-winning albums with Coldplay, Robert Glasper. I'm just reading because the Leon Bridges, projects for artists Corinne Bailey Rae, Jill Scott, Kalila, Nile Rodgers, Avicii. Talk to me about collaboration. How do you keep that connectivity and lean into collab, but keep that integrity of your artistry and your own voice? What is that like?
I think collaboration is very important and also such an opportunity for growth. I think even post Berklee, I decided to step into the role of lifelong student. So I treat collaborations, whether it's with other artists, producers, orchestrators, engineers, as a learning opportunity.
Yes. Lots of different styles.
Yeah,
there's lots of different personalities.
Yeah, but I think maintaining your own kind of identity, sonic identity, and learning how to make a common ground with the people that you are collaborating with is very imperative and important.
And I love that you grow off each other, right? I think that's that's again what we're talking about, our connectivity. So many of us grow alongside and with and because of each other. And we're such a wonderful example of that. Thank you for that. So the debut album got rave reviews, NPR, New York Times, Pitchfork, Billboard, all of the things. And then I remember this. I think it was a scream hurled around the world when the Grammys were on, and we saw you because you were nominated alongside, both of you, Beyonce, Rihanna, and Anderson .Paak, with no label, no backing, doing it your way. Tell me what that meant to you, and tell me how it relates to your choice of being independent in what you do.
Yeah, independence for us was the obvious path. We started just by following our own heart. And it was even in the lyrics of how we wanted to kind of represent ourselves. But I think ultimately what independence has granted us is the time and space for development. We really got to have, the opportunity to get to know ourselves through all these different experiences. I will say that with a lot of entities that we did look to partner with, a lot of them wanted us to change in one way or another. But we did get our start. One of the first people who kind of reached out and took us under their wing was Prince. And he was very serious and very adamant about independence, ownership, and also staying true to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like it makes sense. We know Prince's story. That's such again, lessons, right?
Yeah, and it also, just kind of having a titan like that in your corner made going into these different meetings with knowing that you have the support and someone always standing behind and encouraging you to be yourself and not to change was
really affirmed. We talked about those outside voices. There's all these outside voices. You talked about that influence, this conformity that could be a gravity center. How do you cultivate your authentic voice? Especially now, like I don't even want to talk about it with social media. Like there's so much being pushed. Like that is the roadmap. That's the way. This is the thing. How do you navigate that now, knowing that you've even proven that you don't have to do what everybody's doing, but it still comes, yes?
Yes. I fully believe that. I'm fully into authenticity. I think that it speaks louder than most things out there. I think that if you can quiet everything down and find your inner compass and find who you are as an artist and what you want to sound like as a sound, I think that will lead. Yes. And in our experience, it's been the music that has kind of grown us up into the experiences that were appropriate and right for us. It's been such a journey to actually be on the other side of when you stand in demand and claim your territory kind of sonically. We are now kind of seeing that not wavering from our idea of independence has been like our strongest asset.
It's brought all these collaborations too, right? Like they're looking at exactly what you do and they want some. They want some. We all do. I want to ask you what we have to look forward to. I kind of know because we talked, but I would like you to humble brag because this is the only way that you do it. And let them know what you're working on because I'm super excited. I know that there's going to be a wow around the world when we finally get to see this new music. So please share.
We are working on our second album to follow up from our debut. And it has been just the greatest gift of my life to work on, to feel like I could devote my time to this record. It is everything I could have imagined it would be. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of kind of silencing the world, a lot of me and Amber kind of spending time together and we're twin sisters, so we're in the womb together, of course, but really getting to know each other now and meeting the world, greeting the world as knowing ourselves better. So the music, it feels like a deep reflection of kind of a lot of introspection.
I love that. I'm so obsessed with the fact that you guys get to do this together. Like, I can't even imagine the synergy. I can't even imagine that feeling of like getting to walk this path that you see for yourselves and knowing that you've really done it. I know it's right here, it's locked and it's loaded all the time. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And tell me, just as a last anecdote, tell me a little bit what this community has meant to you and what it's been like to sort of start into this huge world, right? We have like 4 years and then high school's done and then 4 years and then college is done. And then it's like, oh, this is just the rest of your life. So go forth.
I really do believe in the lifelong student thing. It feels like I moved to LA and it was like graduate school for me. I do try to take the experiences as lessons. When things are very hard or difficult, I count it as a class. When you spend more money and you don't actually do the project or whatever it happens, I'm like, oh, that's tuition. Everything is accounted for in experience. So for me, like the opportunity, whether things are good or bad, whether a project or a collaboration ever comes out, the journey, the experience of it. So Berklee was amazing for that. It was 4 years of being with peers. I think Roberto said it earlier. No matter where you were in high school, like getting to college, you found your people. And it was so epic to be around people where just music runs our heart, And so walking down the hallway, it was just, I was humbled every day, and I would call home just thrilled that I could talk to people about music. So having that, coming out to LA, finding more of these people, but having had the foundation to really become ourselves, to really grow into that, Berklee was a wonderful incubator.
Do you feel like, for me, I know like I had my folks on campus and the people that I was close to as a student, but like looking around this room, like a lot of the people that I'm close to, I met after. Did you have the same experience? It was sort of you get here, and how did you make those connections? How did you dig deep in Los Angeles for our folks who are new to LA? Like give them a little nugget.
No, I just think that these kind of events, kind of connecting with people, remembering that we are more alike than we are different, has been really, really important out here. I think post-graduation, kind of finding your tribe, finding your people, and finding the support. And again, with other relationships, it's very important to know yourself and having kind of the spirit of discernment and knowing when people are pouring into you from a genuine place.
Yes,
but yeah, there's so much support out there. There's so many resources, and I think being at Berklee in Boston kind of prepared me in learning how to find those resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes. Thank you all. This has been wonderful. Thank you, Major.
Thank you all so much. That concludes our program.